Monster Hunter is an activity film dependent on the Monster Hunter World computer game. Coordinated by Paul Anderson, the undisputed lord of computer game transformations, the film stars Milla Jovovich as Captain Artemis. She drives an army ranger crew that passes through a desert storm that is really an entrance to a different universe, where individually they're taken out by tremendous dinosaur, insect, mythical monster, and ocean animal-like monsters that are determined to slaughtering every one of them. Arising as the sole overcomer of her group, Artemis collaborates with a strange hunter, Tony Jaa, who thinks about the different animals and how to best execute them. Together, the hunter who communicates in an obscure language and Artemis figure out how to impart and prepare to execute a greater amount of the monsters and ideally figure out how to get her back to Earth. As computer game-based motion pictures go, this isn't the most noticeably terrible, on the grounds that life partners Anderson and Jovovich understand what they're doing. However, it's as yet a forgettable aggregation of savage CGI impacts. Now, Anderson owes his profession to transforming computer games into motion pictures, and his Resident Evil star-turned-spouse is his furious awesome dream. Regardless of troubling audits, the Resident Evil establishment has a sizable after, so it's conceivable that Monster Hunter will strike a similar harmony. Yet, for crowds who are new or uninterested in the game, the film has little to bring to the table past an apparently ceaseless grouping of fierce fights among people and monsters. Be that as it may, the strain is disappointing, similar to any interest in the characters, even Artemis in the hunt. There are a couple of seconds of levity, for example, when Artemis gives the hunter her reserve of chocolate and he requests more, or in the unavoidable preparing montage when she figures out how to utilize his protection and weapons, yet they miss the mark regarding refining the characters. This is certainly not a mate experience, nor is it a character investigation of champions planning and defeating harsh chances. It's simply a demonstration of humankind versus monster savagery and not an inventive show at that. Of course, these films never claim to be something they're not, and there's obviously a crowd of people for them. Try not to anticipate considerable world structure, backstories, or plot clarifications, just big guns splashing, human crunching activity. The story goes that Paul Anderson has been attempting to make a film form of the computer game arrangement, Monster Hunter, since 2012, however one could never figure this in the wake of seeing the outcome. State what you will about the frequently basically scorned movies in the Resident Evil arrangement, there's in any event a fashion awareness behind them that is altogether absent for the principal hour of Monster Hunter. That hour is bafflingly clumsy, neglecting to give watchers even the essential activity they assume accompanies a buy or rental of something many refer to as Monster Hunter. At around the 70-minute imprint, the Anderson who realizes how to utilize abundance for amusement awakens, yet it will be past the point of no return for the vast majority, who will either be snoozing or sorting out if there's a method to get a discount on their VOD rental. And afterward Anderson subverts any generosity he might have left with his watchers by dropping a non-finishing planned absolutely to prod a spin-off that appears far-fetched to actually be. At the point when it was declared, the expectation was this could dispatch another arrangement like Resident Evil. Sadly, this will be nearer to Warrior on Anderson's resume. Possibly they could get the group together for more zombie canines? Monster Hunter opens in an immense desert and nation with a gathering of U.S. Armed Force Rangers on the lookout, driven by Captain Natalie Artemis. What resembles a mixed dust storm tempest ascends not too far off, and Natalie and her group are unexpectedly pushed into an imaginary world close by our own that is essentially more desert, yet with startling animals. Rather than world building, which has vanquished a portion of his most pleasant idealism, Anderson goes for a tremendous desert no man's land tasteful, and it's a weak spot. You can't make a film called Monster Hunter that is exhausting to take a gander at it, and this is perhaps the flattest film inside and out. And afterward something peculiar occurs. Around 66% of the route into Monster Hunter, it's practically similar to Anderson and Jovovich get so exhausted that they simply choose to begin the wackier continuation prior. Seen quickly in the preface, a view-biting Ron Perlman drops into the activity, joined by a group of trackers that incorporates a monster feline who acts like a human. What's more, at this time you understand that all of Monster Hunter should have been this abnormal. It is anything but an extraordinary film anytime, yet there's style and inventiveness in the last demonstration that is a distinct difference to the dull commotion that preceded. In case you're going to ship a star like Milla Jovovich to a place that is known for monsters, why strand her in the desert for an hour and afterward fundamentally become an alternate more sleek film in the last demonstration? When Anderson sorts out the correct tone for this task, you'll be chazzing for a superior film.